Here are this weekend's features and showtimes. Every Tuesday, climb on board with Speed Vision's motorcycle lineup. Two-Wheel Tuesdays. Catch us if you can.
This concludes Speed Vision's look back at one of the really unusual events in motorsports. For Jeremy Hart, I'm Sam Posey saying thanks for being with us.
One of the best kept secrets in auto racing, the Spec Racer Ford, an SCCA invention. It's been around one way and another since 1984, and there's now 800 of these cars in operation. You'll see them next, coming up on Speed Vision. As I said before, 800 of these vehicles in operation. Some been around since 1984, including this #1 car. And here at the St. Petersburg Grand Prix track, we have last year's winner and last year's champion, Jim Goffrey. Can you do it again?
I hope so, David.
It's very competitive, this series. Is it getting more tough?
It gets tougher and tougher every year. Every time we go to a race, the drivers seem to be more competitive each time we go.
What about the streets of St. Petersburg here?
This is a great racetrack, and it suits my driving style. It takes a lot of patience here, and it takes a real smooth lap.
Let's go and visit the other two members of our team, John Bizignano and Derek Daly, who earlier filed these reports.
Speed Vision viewers will recognize this car here as the winner of the last pro race last year at Reno, Nevada. Also, this car finished third at the SCCA runoffs, and incidentally, Speed Vision will carry 3 days live of the runoffs again this year. But Keith Scharf, you drive this vehicle. Now, Spec Racer really has become one of the most competitive all-series in American motorsports.
By far, Derek. There's over 40 cars entered at every event. Any number of people could win when you're in a spec car with a spec motor. It is truly a driver's class.
And one of the most competitive drivers in this class is Warren Stillwell. He's with our John Bizignano.
Well, Derek, the man who beat Keith Scharf at the runoffs in Mid-Ohio is Warren Stillwell, who has a bit of a score to settle with the St. Petersburg circuit. What happened last year, Warren?
Well, it was a season opening event last year, and about 3 laps from the end of the race, I was leading and thought I had at least 16 points, maybe 20 going into the season, and these street circuits can bite you, and it came up and bit me. I wrecked the car, and I was done, 20 points behind. It's not going to happen this year. I won't be 20 points behind leaving this weekend.
Unseasonably warm here at St. Petersburg as they race between these concrete blocks. On the pole position, Warren Stillwell. Beside him, the Valvoline car of Keith Scharf. Row 2, Robert Mumm from the Mumm brothers and Chris Funk. Row 3, Leo Capaldi and Johnny Marigi. 7th fastest is James Goffrey and Jack Wells, and 9th fastest Jeff Beck and Mike Buck. As we look at the rest of the field, David Hobbs, who sits beside me here, one of the most competitive series of racing under SCCA guidance.
Well, of course, one of the things that makes it so competitive, Derek, is there's 44 cars in this field today for the first professional race of the season. And these cars are built to very, very strict limits. They're all exactly the same. They're built by the SCCA in Denver. They only give about 100 horsepower, 135 mile an hour maximum speed, spec tires, spec chassis, spec engine. These engines are sealed. Very, very evenly matched. It's all really down to the driver in a big, big way.
Here's one of our onboard cameras. This is James Goffrey, and he will also carry something very interesting. This is the biocam. We will monitor his heartbeat, and at the moment, James Goffrey has a heartbeat of 84 beats per minute. Very calm and collected for a racing driver about to start. We'll also monitor his breathing. Second onboard camera is carried by our other front row man, is Keith Sharp. Keith Sharp, you can see, is on the front row of the grid. He was our winner at Reno, Nevada on Speed Vision at the end of last season. So he knows what it's like. And David, here's the track map.
Well, it's fairly simple track, 8 corners. The most difficult bit is turns 5 and 6. It's almost a flat-out S-bend, and you come downhill to 5 and uphill out of 6. That's the only elevation change on this circuit. There goes the green flag. 44 cars rush down that long front straightaway into turn 1, and you can see just how evenly matched they are on power. Nobody can get away.
And Warren Stillwell takes advantage of that pole position, goes down to the inside line, and Keith Sharp just tucks in right behind him. This is the double apex, right-hander, turns 1, now down through turn 2.
Coming down to turn 3, this is the only left-hand turn here. A sharp left-hander which leads onto the front straightaway. On board now with James Goffrey, who won this race last year, and of course his last season's champion. We spoke to him earlier. Through turn 4, downhill. Now this is quite steeply downhill now. We've come into those S's I was telling you about. I always refer to them as Eau Rouge. It really is a bit like the Eau Rouge corner in Belgium. Left, right, and at this point here the road starts to go uphill. It's quite bumpy on the approach to turn number 7, which is a very tight corner approaching. As you can see, it's very narrow coming into turn 7. Got to make a good apex here. Whoops, there, old Goffrey there, wailing away at the wheel. Along what was the pit straight last year. The pits were on the left here, but of course the dome is under reconstruction. Down to the final turn 8.
There's our biocam again. Now Goffrey has gone up to 132 beats per minute, so obviously the heartbeat goes up, the adrenaline rush goes up. On the left side of your screen, you can see him breathing. That is him breathing up and down, in and out of his chest cavity. Oh, we have an incident. Crash number 1 happens very early in this. Difficult to see the number. So he is in Eau Rouge, David Hobbs' favorite corner. It is a very, very bumpy section of the track. So we have an incident very early in the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series. Pit crew members look on. We'll be back to see the results of this and with more racing. Don't go away.
If watching the race on TV just isn't good enough anymore, and what you're really looking for is a little excitement on your weekends, then maybe it's time you discovered racing the SCCA way. The Sports Car Club of America is your ticket to the pit lane and the fast lane. If you'd like SCCA membership information, call this toll-free number, 1-800-972-6662.
Experts measure how well a car corners in terms of G's. In 1973, in Car and Driver magazine, the Triumph Spitfire got a score of... Yes, the Spitfire gives you 0.87 G's for a little more than 3 G's. And that wasn't even testing under ideal Spitfire conditions.
Welcome back to the streets of St. Petersburg. We had an incident on lap 1 of the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series. It happened right here. There's the skid marks. That's what we call Eau Rouge. David, the most difficult corner on this racetrack.
Well, it is difficult because you go there, you go through that high speed, almost flat out. It's a downhill approach, and the road is very crowned here. Obviously, Florida's mostly dry, but when it rains cats and dogs, so the roads are crowned to drain off. Not very good for race cars.
And it was Toto Lassalle, our slowest qualifier, who crashed, so he is now gone. And the leaders rage on. Stillwell is leading, Keith Sharp is second, that is Mumm is third, Capaldi fourth, Funk is fifth. And our champion from last year, Godfrey, is in 6th place as they come down for the green flag yet again.
You can see the flag marshals about there trying to keep the field in control, but of course one of the problems with a caution flag with this type of racing, with 44 cars in single file, you're a long way back when you get this green flag.
Stillwell got the jump on Keith Sharp in the Valvoline car. That's Keith Sharp, number 6, running second. There's Mumm, one of the Mumm's brothers. On board again with Godfrey in the braking zone. You can see, you cannot see around these concrete walls, so if something happens ahead of you, all you see is the yellow flag, and you hope nobody's stopping in the middle of the road.
You might see a bit of smoke over the top of the wall, but obviously the driver's head can't see over the wall, as you say. Round that left-hander onto pit straight.
Heavy braking in front of our pits here, back on board with John. James Godfrey looked right up behind and looking for that position. Back on board with Godfrey. He qualified in 7th. Now he runs in 6th. Very experienced. Not only did he win here last year, but he is the series champion. Very colorful car. You see him 6 cars back, multicolored.
Coming out on this main straightaway, which of course has one very unique feature. Right there, they go over the railroad lines here in downtown St. Petersburg. In fact, they cross them twice. Tremendous battle in front of Godfrey on board we are with now, and that is Funk is really trying hard to get around the 88 car. So a lot of action in here back in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Look at them all there together.
And he pulled it off. He did manage to slide down the inside of Chris Funk. So Godfrey, there he is, did pick up 5th place, so he is the man on the move as we speak. He's now in 5th place, having got by Funk.
He's got to get around that 10 car though, because the 10 car is now holding him up. And of course, as you can see, the 3 leaders are getting away from him. And with the power differential on these cars, which is so small, they get away. It's going to be very difficult for him to catch up. Here's that tricky corner again. Eau Rouge through that. Then quite a steep uphill into this sharp turn 7. Whoa, Funk having to go down the inside of Godfrey now. Once that position back, it's got him locked in. He's got the line for the corner. But I think Godfrey may have played that right. Has he got enough on-board speed to get by him into turn 8? Looks like doubtful, doesn't it?
And a great move by Chris Funk to get that position back. Down the inside, takes the apex turning point away from him. He has no option. And, oh, look at this, side by side again. Down this long straight. Let's have a look at his heartbeat. There it is. The heartbeat is on the right-hand side. Now it's up to 144 beats per minute. Oh, you're right on board with him as he slides down the inside again. Look at this, 3 abreast behind them.
2nd place changing here too. The Valvoline car slipping back to 3rd. And look at this race into the position here for, what's that, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Great racing here in the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series. Look at Godfrey, he is all over trying to get that position back again.
Oh, that's 77 cars on the outside. He made it, slipped through on the inside there, turn 3.
That is Marigi, who just lost that position to James Godfrey. Oh, another incident.
Bodywork on the outside of turn 2. This is sort of a double apex right-hander, turns 1 and 2. That's the whole front end of one of these cars is lying there.
Not unusual here. They run so closely together.
Oh, a lot of them spinning around there. That's the number 8
Neil
car.
Tilbor is involved. Neil Tilbor is involved in the incident, as is David Donovan. So Neil Tilbor, the man who invents toys for a living, is now in trouble with David Donovan. There's David Donovan right there. So the incidents continue, and Warren Stillwell continues to lead this pack. We'll be back.
Once in a while, if you wait long enough, you get to see this or this. But why wait when you can have bunches of crunches? Hot on the heels of ChoiceMark's Smash Hit Sports Video Series comes the Amazing Sports Video Collection. All new and only from ChoiceMark. 5 tapes, hours of entertainment, just $19.95. They even poke fun at superstars like Deion Sanders and Sir Charles Barkley. Call now. These are some bone-crunching, hair-raising, side-splitting bloopers most never before seen on TV. They'll make you laugh. They'll make you cringe. You'll get amazing hits, KOs, and crunches, funniest basketball bloopers, funniest sports bloopers, the lighter side of sports, and the amazing Superstar Sports Quiz. 5 hard-hitting videos for only $19.95 with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't wait. You'll only be hurting yourself.
Call 1-800-207-5533 to get the Amazing Sports Videos collection. 5 videos, just $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping. Makes a great gift. Call now.
Things are hectic here on the streets of St. Petersburg. This is the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series. You're on board with Keith Scharf in the Valvoline car. He is third. That is Warren Stillwell in second. Ahead of him, he was passed for the lead by Leo Capaldi. There's 4 cars you could cover with a blanket here, and it is harem scarum time. Here's Capaldi down the inside of your leader, Warren Stillwell.
That's that double apex turns 1 and 2. Capaldi made a great pass, then made sure that he stayed in the middle of the track so that Stillwell couldn't get it back. And now, of course, Keith Scharf, who started on the front row, is now back in third spot. And it looks like Stillwell and Capaldi are actually pulling... Oh, well, he's caught right up with him again.
Leo Capaldi's wife looks on, and she crosses everything she has there, hoping that Leo can hang on to this lead, but he is under attack from Stillwell, Scharf, and Robert Mumm is right there in fourth.
And this, of course, is the break that Goffrey, who won this race, needed. Here goes Scharf down the inside of Stillwell. No, can't pull it off. That's turn 4. An important corner, this one, because it leads onto this long back straight, which has got those S's, but there's a lot of high-speed motoring here. If you can come off onto this straightaway in good speed, you're in good shape.
Look at Goffrey. Our champion is still trying to catch the top 4. Look at Scharf down the inside, blocks the inside line with that defensive move, and Capaldi still hangs on to that lead.
But these top 4 are dicing so furiously amongst themselves now. They are definitely slowing themselves up, which is allowing Goffrey to catch them up. Marigi right behind Goffrey. We're on board with Goffrey now as we come down the pit straightaway, and as you can see, he's closed up a lot on the car of Mumm, who's lying fourth.
Stillwell takes it back, under braking for turn number 4. He takes it back, and now look at Keith Scharf. This is the very difficult left-hander over a big bump, right-hander, and then a drag race to the braking zone. Very, very bumpy in this braking zone. Look at Stillwell, blocks down the inside.
Braking for this turn 7. We've noticed a lot of these drivers brake in the middle of the road and then they move back to the left to get the ideal line to turn right. It's very bumpy on the left, and there's a lot of drop-off too on the left. Difficult to brake in there, and Goffrey has now caught that front leading bunch. So a great race developing now. We've got, in fact, practically the whole field is caught up. So we've got the first 6 or 7 cars together in this lead bunch.
You hear the tires squeal as they turn into these corners. They're all spec tires supplied by Yokohama. These tires get better with heat cycles, but look at this long, long freight train of spec racers, and this is Mumm's down the outside of Keith Scharf. Very difficult move to pull off, Dave, around the outside.
Yeah, very difficult in this turn 1 and 2, but whoa, 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 there we see some body work. Is that
Stillwell? Was that Stillwell? Yes, I think it was. I think that was our leader, Stillwell, who may have lost most of his car.
Oh, he certainly lost the back end, which of course with that wing on it is going to make a big aerodynamic difference to him. So even if he manages to carry on, it's not going to be the car it was. Goffrey there, get a bit of understeer, lets it off halfway through the corner and has to lift out of a bit, which of course is disaster on turn 4 because you face this long straight.
There it is. So Leo Capaldi is safely now in the lead, and Stillwell loses the back end of his car. They obviously had contact. Here it is from our onboard camera with Keith Scharf. This is turn 1. Watch what happens. Capaldi, oh, he loses it all by himself, David.
Yep, Stillwell just got wide, lost it, started to rotate the car. It just clipped the wall with the back end of the car. Boom, there, whips the back of the car off. I think he's done some damage to the suspension and the engine as well. So,
well.
Stillwell. There we see the car down in pit lane, John Bizignano.
Well, Stillwell definitely wants back on this St. Petersburg circuit. The officials are looking at the car. His pit crew is actually watching from turn 1, his mother and his father. The other team's pit crew are sitting here. There's definitely a problem on the left rear, but he's back out there. He's a racer. St. Petersburg has not been kind to him for 2 years in a row.
David, you were absolutely correct. There was suspension damage on that car. You can see it, the negative camber on that wheel. The back of the car still sits there, and Keith Scharf was very, very fortunate to miss that incident. But look at Goffrey now, all over the back of Robert Mumm. The Mumm brothers here. The engineer is his brother.
Like to have a bit of smoke there as he braked for turn. Oh! You could see that coming a mile off. Boy, oh boy, when he turned in, this car's had a lot of push there throughout the race. He pushed straight up onto the outside of turn 4. So that's James Goffrey's day done, and I would think this will bring out another all-course caution.
Talk about being on board.
If you're a real car enthusiast, you should be reading Auto Week every week. For true car lovers, once a month is not enough.
Auto Week has the latest news because it's a weekly. You can stay up on top of everything.
All the new models, concept cars, SUVs, even collector cars are in Auto Week every week.
Auto Week will give you information on new models that really isn't available anywhere else.
All the racing news and analysis you could ever want when it's still hot.
I'm into going racing with my buddies, and Auto Week gives us information to talk about before it's old news. Anything with wheels, Auto Week has.
Call 1-800-232-1502 now for a full year of Auto Week at the special TV price. Just $24.95 for 52 big issues.
If you're as serious about cars as I am, you've got to be reading Auto Week.
Call 1-800-232-1502 for the special TV price on Auto Week. Call now to get Auto Week every week.
If you only had time for one car magazine, Auto Week would be the one to read.
Call now.
Welcome back, and we have just had a very, very big incident to the national champion, James Goffrey, who has just driven straight into a concrete wall, did heavy damage. David, what happened here?
Well, here he is coming and taking a real wide line to go a good exit off turn 4, and right here he just clips the wall, but it's enough to send him over there. You can see the car suddenly change direction. Now severe understeer, trying to brake with the front wheel there locking up, hits the outside wall hard. Done a lot of damage to the car. He is hit from his car. The car in front brakes, leaves some smoke as well. Just look, just touches the wall, puts him out enough, and boom.
This is a second or a third gear corner. There's the wall right there with the telltale pink paint. John?
Well, Robert Mumm is taking advantage of this yellow flag. He is having handling problems, and no one wants that on a city circuit. These walls will jump out at you at any time. Robert Mumm qualified third here, but now he's going to rejoin the field at the very back. Look for him coming through.
Well, forget him. He won't come through because this is so competitive. You cannot come from the back no matter how good you are. But this battle rages up front, and Keith Sharp now is in attack mode against Leo Capaldi.
Keith Sharp was on the front row in the first place. Now he's back there again. Here's the scene of the crime of just a few moments ago. That same corner, turn 4. As you can see, the track surface of turn 4 is degrading. They had to do some work just before this race. The hot sun and the hot tyres have dug the asphalt up just a little bit there. But look at this, Sharp loses ground to Capaldi as they go down through that Eau Rouge up to turn 7.
That is Marigi, that is in third place. Santos Perito is in fourth. Number 77, sorry, Marigi is fifth. On board again with Keith Sharp. You can listen to that Ford 1.9 litre 4-cylinder engine. It is a stock Ford Escort engine and gearbox. You can buy these cars for $22,500. And believe it or not, they have been running since the mid-80s. They have built over 700 of these spec racers, originally powered by Renault engines, now powered by Ford.
Very evenly matched, of course. That about 109 horsepower, and they're all within 2 or 3 horsepower of each other. The engines are sealed. They're all done by Jack Roush out of Detroit. Jack Roush, of course, of fame, NASCAR fame, but all these engines are put together by him, so they're very, very evenly matched, which of course is going to make it really difficult for Mumm to come through to the back.
Santos Perito there is in there. Another incident. Number 51
is Dominic DeLuca. He's from Florida, from Melbourne, Florida.
Robinson Motorsports prepares his entry for him. Oh! Biggie!
Nasty one. Oh, dear.
Well. That is one of the unsighted corners. As you exit a left-hander, that is the pit exit right behind them. You could actually hear the impact when those two cars collided. John Bisignano? You see
Warren Stillwell, another bad race here at St. Petersburg. What happened to you?
Well, that's 2 years in a row I've had bad luck. It's a really tight field out there, and you got to push as hard as you can, and we'd race on road courses where you can be a little looser and a little more aggressive. On the street courses, you can't do that. I got a little wide in turn 1, just trying to work the car, and caught the wall, and that was the end of my day.
Warren, good luck at the next event.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Thanks.
That's a 25 car.
Heavy damage. These cars are incredibly strong. Incredibly strong car. This is Chris Funk. Chris Funk was in their top 5. You can see heavy damage on the front right side of his car. Radiator torn off. That's why you see the steam. But these cars are incredibly strong. Believe it or not, they rebuild a lot of these heavy wrecks. A lot of these may be built for tomorrow. Zanotti is number 25. That's the car facing us as the SCCA brings this field again under a full course yellow. That looks like a bit of an airline accident there. Bits and pieces of debris just everywhere.
But these cars are incredibly strong. They're very simple and very, very strong.
So full course yellow as they gather up most of the parts of these spec racers. There's plenty more action here on Speed Vision. Don't go away.
Hi, Chuck. Here's lunch.
Thanks.
How's business?
Not bad. Yours?
It's okay. Hey, what's that on your screen?
Oh, that. QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken. I called a toll-free number and got a free trial version.
My system works fine for me.
That's what I thought. But if you have bills to pay or customers who owe you money, you really ought to try this.
Yeah, I really don't have time to learn new software.
Well, if you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. Answer a few questions, and it tailors itself to your business. Now I create invoices like these.
Yeah, but my business is so different from yours.
Ah, but that's what makes QuickBooks so great. It's the #1 software for any small business. It has accounts payable, accounts receivable, even payroll and inventory, and you never have to enter information twice. There's over 60 customizable reports that put you in control. Know if you're making or losing money.
Sounds pretty good. I'm going to get that free trial version.
Nothing to lose.
Call 1-888-305-7400.
And this is a sight we don't want to see. This is Chris Funk, number 61. This incident happened on the front straight. Here's number 15, Jim Marinangle. Now, he was involved in 2 different incidents. The first one, you see him, he noses into the tire barrier, and then number 51, Dominic DeLuca, misses everything. But then, David, the most unusual incident right here.
Coming into the turn 3, there we see Scott Zanotti hits the tire barrier, bounces out, and finally collects the 15 car, which has had a very eventful 2 or 3 minutes there.
So within the space of 1 lap, Jim Marinangle has 2 incidents. One he was not responsible for. John Bisignano, you have an update?
Jim, a rough lap for you there. What went wrong?
Well, yeah, we had a little problem out there. I'd gotten myself in trouble by moving back a little bit in the pack. I locked it up going into 1. When I came back out, I was in a position I really shouldn't have been in the first place. And then, of course, what happened is we had a car spin out in front of us. He collected the wall. I tried to move from him, and he just ricocheted right off the wall into my path, tore up the whole back of the car. We're done for the day, for the weekend, and quite possibly this half or more of the season.
Chris Funk is now in the ambulance. He has been removed from his vehicle. Did take quite some time. John Bisignano, you have an update?
Derek, we've talked to the SCCA officials here, and they are in radio communication with the people at the scene. Chris Funk, he is conscious, but they are taking him to the Bayfront Medical Center for some further observation. Obviously, you've seen the impact. He hit really hard.
We are about to go back under green again. Quick run down on the top 5. Capaldi is leading. He's been first or second most of the day. Keith Sharp, who's Chris Funk's teammate, is second. Spirito is third. Marriage is fourth, and BJ Zacharias has come from 12th place to run in the top 5. Mike Buck is 6th. And Derek Schofield, one of the drivers of the event here, he started on the back of the grid, and he's now running 7th, and he's not that far from these leaders. Look at Sharp under attack here.
Going down the inside into turn 1, great bit of outbraking there. Ooh, Scarf there running wide. That double apex right-handed turns 1 and 2 into turn 3, where we just saw that incident with the car bouncing off. The number 19 car there not giving up at all.
Santos Perito, look at this, they're side by side. Scarf tries to go down the outside. Very difficult with our leading car here. From the onboard camera with Keith Sharp, I think we heard contact between him and the 3rd place car, but look at this here down to Eau Rouge.
Boy, you want to be careful going into their side by side. It's just not built for it. Up to turn 7.
Keith Sharp is not good. He's in trouble. He's slow down the straight. Look at the gaggle of cars behind him. Oh, there's contact again.
Oh, scraping down the wall there. The number 77 car, Marigi, right behind Scarf. One of those cars limping along by the wall now.
Was that Zacharias? Who is that car?
That might have been Zacharias trying to go down the inside.
No, 31, it is Zacharias. It is indeed BJ Zacharias trying to get down the inside of number 77. Marigi, there was contact, and I think Zacharias went into the wall. Look at this, 3 abreast, David, down into the braking zone.
Wow, this is going to be a bit hairy because there's 2 cars right in front of him moving across the road there.
There is contact again. Look how wide this braking zone. You can fit 5 cars in a line here, but you must get back and tuck back into almost single file. Plenty of room here to race on the streets of St. Petersburg. 2nd and 3rd. Capaldi's wife again looks on. She's got number one. She's got the one finger up. He still leads. Look at the dice behind, though.
Johnny Santos Burrito now up to second.
He qualified 11th. He's now running second, challenging for the lead. There's number 77, Marigi. 60 and 49 coming up behind.
That's Derek Schofield, and the 49 car is Jack Wills. Jack Wills' car is looking a bit second-hand. He's had some bodywork damage there to his right front. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down much, though.
What a run Schofield has had. Had no time in qualifying. How can he be under attack from a car with no rear bodywork, David? No rear wing. Surely there's a lot of downforce missing from that car.
No rear bodywork, and the front bodywork's all deranged. Wills driving like a man possessed down that front straightaway. You'd think he aerodynamically would be down. There you go. White flag. Capaldi now is going to be in blocking mode, no doubt, or at least certainly going to make very defensive. See how bumpy it is there on the approach to this turn. Turn 7 for the last time.
And Keith Sharp has to watch in front of him and behind him. If he can hold off Marigi, then he can tidy up his line and maybe catch the boys ahead of him. But Capaldi's wife.
Whoa! Santos Burrito there could have dropped himself into trouble there, losing a lot of time going through that last turn, but now he is in real blocking mode.
You can see him looking in his rear view mirror there to see where Keith Sharp was. He can tighten up the line in the braking zone, which is what he does right here, and it's over. The checkered flag flies, and Leo Capaldi takes it home. Here's the results of our high incident Spec Racer Ford Pro Series, which is round 1 of the championship. And the man who won it came all the way from the cold of Michigan to the sunshine of Florida, and he's with John Bisignano.
Leo Capaldi, definitely the place to be today was up front.
Oh, it was I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I've never been here before. It's great. I have a lot of nice friends that got me here. If it wasn't for, my friends Barry and my wife that got me here, I wouldn't have been able to race this event.
Thank you, John. Leo Capaldi wins his first Pro Spec Racer Series, and of course it is a family celebration. For John Bisignano and for David Hobbs, I'm Derek Daly, and so long from the sunshine of Florida.
I use the carbon fiber when I need very strong structure, and aluminum in other places. It's a four-wheel drive. We have a gearbox in the middle. It is a sequential gearbox.
What a great Geneva show, Andrew.
Yes, it was.
And I liked ending in the sports cars.
Well, something I like about Geneva is the concept cars, like the Pininfarina Nautilus. Did you like that one?
Yeah, that was absolutely my favorite concept car here.
But something that must be disappointing for you, that some of the cars shown here are just not available in America?
Oh yeah, if I could take something away from Geneva, it would be the little Ford Ka. But I can't, so I'll just leave with my new watch. And look forward, I guess, to the next big show. That'll be in Frankfurt, Germany. Speed Vision will be there, so we hope you are too.
If you're looking for value for your vacation dollar, look no further than Florida's Sun Coast. If you're looking for value for your racing dollar, look no further than the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series. Coming up next on Speed Vision. This is a good look at the Tyco RC car known as the Mutator. Now, you won't see this baby on the racetrack, but you will see it on a regular basis in the paddock. Hello, everybody. I'm Derek Daly, and welcome to the sunshine of South Florida. Now, the inventor of this RC car is one of our drivers this afternoon, Neil Tilbor. Neil, come on now. Tell me, which is the profession and which is the hobby?
I work on Tyco RC toy cars. I play with my Spec Racer Ford.
Neil, you've been around this game since 1985, driven with drivers like Dorsey Schrader. Is it still as enjoyable as ever with these Spec Racers?
The Spec Racer Ford Series is as good as they come. It's so competitive because the cars are nearly equal.
They are indeed. There are many more stories here from the paddock, and with some of those, let's go to my colleagues, John Bisignano and David Hobbs.
SCCA racing is full of great stories, and this is one of Mark Broyles, who drives this number 30 car. He drives a pizza truck delivery, and he also works for this team, the Lindell Racing Team, in his spare time, and all the money he gets he uses to buy a drive in this car. This year, Mark, you've gone from the national racing to the professional series. Is that going to be tough?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this series is very, very competitive, and it's going to be hard stepping up out of the nationals. But I ran competitively last year, so I'm hoping to finish consistently in the top 10 and maybe take a couple trips to the podium.
And if you do, what about the money? Is that going to keep coming in?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm hoping to pick up a sponsor this year to help things out. I wanted to thank the Altoon and Lube and Darien because they helped me out this weekend, and I'm hoping to pick up a sponsor for the rest of the year.
Well, there you see another very optimistic driver in this type of racing. Let's go down to John Bisignano with more stories.
Well, David Hobbs, one man who knows his way around this bumpy St. Petersburg circuit is Chris Funk. Chris, you finished second here last year, one of the bumpiest circuits on the tour, and I must say you have one of the stiffest chassis I've ever felt. Why is that?
Well, I like the car to take a quick set and give me the feedback right now as to what it's going to do. The track is real bumpy, and out there in practice, a few guys caught the wall, but a lot of times we're just out there looking for ways around it during these sessions and trying to keep the car together to race.
Well, Chris Funk trying to go from a second-place finish last year to a victory this season.
Unfortunately for Chris Funk, after our interview, he had an incident that was severe enough to damage his car, and he is a non-starter here this afternoon. But on the pole, Robert Mumm, one of the Mumms brothers, Warren Stillwell beside him in the row 1, Keith Sharp and Leo Capaldi on row number 2, BJ Zacharias, row number 3 with James Goffrey, Mike Buck and Johnny Santo on row 4, and Mirigi and Neil Tilbor are on row 5. David?
Well, as usual, this racing promises to be incredibly close. No time at all separates pole from about 30 cars on here. Very, very evenly matched.
Yesterday's race was run by Leo Capaldi, and you see Leo in celebration mood there. This is a double-header race weekend. Leo Capaldi, who is now on our second row here because Chris Funk has gone. So he's already got one win for his weekend here. And these double-header weekends, really, David, are a big benefit to these type of cars. This is our onboard camera. This is car number 8. Car number 8, which is Warren Stillwell, one of the most successful drivers in this series. We do have 2 onboard cameras for you, Stillwell being one of them. You see his familiar red color. We also have the biocam on Warren Stillwell. We will monitor his breathing. That's the bar on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is the EKG, which is his heart rate. So Warren Stillwell, you see it on the right-hand side there. On the pace laps, about 105, oh, it jumps up to 120. Our second onboard camera this afternoon is carried by the man you met earlier, Neil Tilbor, in the Tyco RC car. He is an inventor of toys. One of his most famous, of course, is the Dancing Elvis, which starts to dance when your phone rings. Very interesting racetrack here, David Hobbs.
Well, it is. It looks fairly simple. Just a big rectangle with that spur up into turn number 1, so you're left with 8 turns. But that turn 5 and 6, that is very, very tricky. A downhill, very fast downhill approach. Left, right-hand sweep, and right between the 2 corners, the road starts to go uphill again. And as they come down that front straightaway here, all 44 of them to take the green flag.
Here they go, about 109 horsepower each. Ford Escort engine and gearboxes, and Robert Mumm from the pole begins to sneak down that inside line. Look at Keith.